161st Street, Yankee Stadium.
Swung on a hit in the air to deep center. Pitch back, away back. She is gone. He made the play.
All right, welcome back to the Boys of 161st Street. Another roll call episode coming to you. We are talking about Joseph Gallo today. Joey Gallo last year came over to the Yankees, traded for. We got him from the Texas Rangers. He played 95 games on the Texas Rangers and then was traded over to the Yankees, played 58 on the Yankees. Did not do so hot when he came over to the Yankees. There were high hopes. I know we on this podcast didn't necessarily say we wanted him, but I personally said I wanted him for like just temporary reasons. I even put that video out saying like, you know, I know it's for the wrong reasons. He's more of what we already have, like more strikeouts, more chasing, home runs, strikeout or bust, or home run or bust. I think I still wanted him just to have something happen, similar to this year. I want something to fucking happen. I want to sign somebody, but I knew long term having Gallo wouldn't be like, thank God we have Gallo, but he's on the Yankees, and I do think he's going to do better than he did last year with the Yankees, but we'll dive into all those numbers. Before we get into any of the numbers, I did want to bring up probably the funniest thing of his storyline and everything that happened with him last year was the Bob Clappish article I'll refer back to. And Chandler, if you could take it away and give us a little bit of the spark notes of what that article said and Gallo's response to it.
Okay, so basically he was talking about how it's not Boone's fault. Cashman has to fill the guys with the right pedigree. So take, for instance, Joey Gallo, who I'm told would lay out his uniform piece by piece in front of his locker before dressing, then undress if the fit wasn't right. Sometimes this would happen more than once before the slugger was ready to take the field. Obviously, Gallo is a quirky guy, and everyone is entitled to their rituals, but couple these habits with a 160 average and a nearly 50% strikeout ratio and the only pennant race of his life. One scout asked me rhetorically, does anyone do background checks over there on the Yankees? The implication, of course, is that Gallo wasn't and is not a match for this market.
And then what did Gallo respond to that?
Gallo responded, said, me, literally gets dressed, media, yep, that's why he sucks.
I mean, that article is ridiculous.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
I mean, Gallo, you get on him for like the strikeouts and all that stuff, but I mean, how he literally made the comparison to like when he in that article, the turning point from regular journalism to nonsense was couple that with the 160, whatever the fuck it was, and that's why he sucks.
Yeah, couple him putting on his uniform. You know, I got a feeling that he's not showing up to the field at 6:45 for a 7 o'clock game and, you know, not working out or warming up because of his uniform. He's probably there at like noon for a 7 o'clock game and then doing his uniform thing. You know, if he wants to take an extra 10 minutes, so fucking be it, man. Like, come on.
That's ridiculous.
I
like a guy that's a little stitious.
I do too.
The Yankees traded Josh Smith, the 14th ranked prospect for the Yankees at the time. Shortstop, we have a lot of shortstops, so that makes sense. We don't really need that. Second base, Ezekiel Duran, number 15, the Yankees pipeline. Second base / outfielder, Trevor Hoover, number 23. And Glenn Otto, right-handed pitcher, number 28.
Glenn Otto was nice for him last year.
In the prospects for the Yankees. Yeah.
Can I say one
thing?
We
also got Joely Rodriguez in there,
thank God. I defended it last year, and I will say it again, that I did not hate that trade. And I still don't hate the trade because on paper, he provides so much of what we didn't have. Gold Glove defense, granted, he dropped like 9 fly balls when he got to the Yankees, but we didn't have a left fielder. So Gold Glove defense, we needed that, check. Somebody who gets on base, because all we do is fucking hit into double plays, which also he had done 3 times in his career. Check, check. Hits for power, you know, do with that what you may, but left-handed bat, check. He checked so many boxes. The only thing that was really super negative was his strikeouts. And you know what? Yeah, it sucks, but he checked off a lot of boxes that we needed last year, and I really don't hate the trade. I think it was awesome on paper, and I still think it has the potential to, you know, pay dividends this year, but fuck, man, he was bad. He was so bad when he got here. He hit that one awesome home run against the Mariners and then just died.
And remember, we thought that was going to be like, oh,
yep.
That's his
Joey
coming out party.
Coming out party. He earned his pinstripes.
I love that. And then, so the numbers last year, just to round those out. For in Texas, he batted 223, which is above his numbers for his career are 206 batting average, 114 OPS plus. So in Texas, he had a 223 batting average, 139 OPS plus. Like coming in, he was having a fantastic year, and then as soon as he became a Yankee, and you can't really get that mad at him for like he's coming from Texas to the New York Yankees into a huge market where they ridicule the way he gets dressed. So I think personally, after all that stuff, I think he handled it well. Like he didn't have any outbursts, like not on the field. He handled coming to New York well and being in a big market. Obviously, it affected him a lot. I thought that would be canceled out with the fact that he doesn't need to be relied on as much because he has guys around him, and he's being he on the Rangers. He was the only guy on the team. We were talking about on the Glaber episode where there's not really any people that can protect him. Sorry for forgetting that word.
Okay.
But
You're a math guy.
There's not a lot of people that can protect him on the Rangers, and we have a lot that can protect him. And both
Supposedly.
righties that are supposed to be bookending him, Stanton and Judge, in between him, that looks like, and still does, and that I'm talking about last year, coming into the trade, it's like, that's going to be awesome. It's exactly what we need. He's a super duper pull hitter. When you look at the spray chart, all of his home runs are all to fucking right field, almost like Didi used to do on the Yankees, RIP. But I thought, that would even out with coming to a big market. I think the big market was a little bit for him, obviously, coming in. But I think a year into being on the Yankees, he's still 20. He's going to his age 28 year. That was a big upside to trading for him, too, because you have 2 years of control. I think this is his last year on the Yankees' control. I don't think that we'll bring him back at the end of this year. He'll have to fucking have a career year, which he's projected to have a good year. We'll get into that later.
I mean, he had back-to-back years with 40-plus home runs. He's a good player. He really is a good player. He's won 2 Gold Gloves? I know he's won at least one.
Yeah, and I personally, let's dive into that a little bit more about him coming back next year.
First half of the year, he was getting early MVP votes. Like,
yeah,
he was projected to be a superstar, and he's a star. He is a star in this league when he's
absolutely. Right. I mean, look at the sabermetrics from 2021 for the whole year, just both Texas and the Yankees. Walk percentage is the 99th percentile. That's why they got him. They want a guy who can get on base. Anybody who's watched Moneyball knows, what does he do well? He gets on base. He strikes out a bunch. Who gives a fuck? That's kind of like just optics. Like, what do you want to look at? That's what comes to mind. He strikes out a lot, but he gets on base.
He doesn't hit into double plays. Historically speaking, I think that was kind of an outlier. But
yeah,
especially if they follow through with the shift, which we don't need to talk too much in depth of that because I don't think anything's set in stone. But it's just something to keep in mind, I don't think he's going to hit into a bunch of double plays again. I think that was an outlier. He's a fucking bunt champion, apparently. He had like 2 bunt doubles, which was cool.
He's the best bunter. I feel like he's going to have like a bunting revenge tour. Like, since the shift is outlawed for 2023.
Supposedly. I don't think it's set in stone yet.
I think it probably will be. And I really hope it is for my sake and especially for his sake, because he fucking hates the shift. As he should, because he pulls every ball and they stack the right side of the infield with sometimes 5 people.
Do you remember his fuck the shift slow-mo?
Yeah.
I think whenever he hit like a 110 exit velo, just line drive that was fielded as a ground ball in shallow right field and thrown out, just to fuck the shift. That was awesome.
Do you know what pitch gives him the most trouble? Speaking of his strikeout,
Can I guess?
Can I guess too?
That's why I asked.
I'm gonna say fastball.
I was going to say fastball as well.
No.
I thought thought you were trying to reverse psychology.
Sort of.
I would say high fastballs.
Split finger fastball.
I would barely consider that a fastball.
That's a weird. I mean, who hits splitters well?
Yeah, nobody.
That's a good point, but
He's probably like close to
Time
the
to shut
average.
baseball savant down over there.
What's the second?
It's runs above average. So it doesn't matter that nobody can hit a splitter because it's compared to everybody else. He can't hit a splitter.
Well, speaking of splitters, we're going to jump the gun here because he's probably not. This is going to be his roll call here. The person who throws a splitter, everybody hits Zach Britton. So
Fuck. No.
let's see.
He doesn't get a roll call.
That was his roll call right there.
Fuck him.
We mentioned his name.
That was his roll call.
I mean, he's not going to play this year, so he
I
doesn't
know. That was his roll call.
Let's go out.
He brings
at
the
the end of the
splitter
roll
batting
calls,
average up.
we'll just be like, guess whose roll call we mentioned Zach Britton's
Yep.
name
Yeah.
on. We'll see who's listening.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So when you look at all of the other baseball savant numbers, just to round out the 2021 before we get into the projections, he is outs above average, 93rd percentile, outfield jump, 89th percentile. Surprisingly, chase rate, 95th percentile. So he doesn't chase a lot of balls. He just swings in the zone and kind of doesn't hit them. But what he does hit them, his barrel percentage is 98% percentile. So he's got some funky numbers. All in all, I think it's a very big net positive. I think Joey Gallo is a great player. And I really think, I mean, when you compare to the Yankees numbers versus, I think he's going to smash those numbers, maybe like double everything he had since he went. I think he's going to come into his own in the Yankees this year. I think that protection, like we said, with Judge and Stanton, both hopefully staying healthy, which they have been, and both playing very well. Like Judge and Stanton are legitimate studs, and everyone knows that, and they both had great years last year. You're not going to want to pitch to them. You're going to throw to Joey Gallo. He's going to get pitches to hit. Hopefully he doesn't swing with his eyes closed like it seemed like he was doing sometimes, but I think he's going to have a fucking awesome year. If we're doing like, I don't necessarily think anyone outside of Judge and Stanton could win MVP on this team legitimately, like put my money on it. But if I was going to pick a representative from the Yankees to be a dark horse to win MVP, I think it'd be Joey Gallo. He plays unbelievable defense, and that protection, he's going to get so many fucking pitches to hit. He's going to hit in the heart of the order. He's probably going to be hitting 3. So, I mean, the order, like we mentioned before, would be DJ, Judge, Gallo, Stanton. I think that's, like, he's going to get so many pitches to hit. Hopefully DJ comes back to being his regular self and he's on base. Judge gets on base all the time. He's most often going to start off his at-bats with 2 guys on. And
I wouldn't say most often, but I know
not most often. If Judge doesn't hit a home run and he just gets on base, like, he's going to get...
He's going to have opportunities.
He has, I think, zero out everything, like who the player is. Just insert default player X in the 3-hole in the Yankees lineup. That player has probably the best opportunity to win MVP. I think that's completely fair. So now if that's, like if you put Juan Soto in that spot, he's winning MVP, no doubt about it.
If you put Juan Soto in that, he might have 200 RBIs.
I know. So
Which,
he
that might
has,
be an
the
exaggeration, but
table
you get
is
the point.
set. The table is set for him to have a fucking awesome year. It's up to him. I think 1 year into the Bronx, he was kind of thrown in halfway through the year. That's a big mental thing.
Especially considering he's a lifelong diehard Yankees fan. Like that's assuming any of us were even like a shred athletic and you put us in a Yankee uniform, that's a lot of fucking pressure. Like he's a diehard Yankee fan. Like,
Yeah.
He was like, dude was literally like shedding tears when he hit that home run against the Mariners.
The walk-off. Yeah. That was a walk-off, right?
No, it was to take the lead, but
The one where he just barely got it.
Yeah,
and
inside the foul
it,
pole.
like just landed. Yeah.
yeah, that was in the 8th.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is his dream. So you know what? I will cut him some slack on a few things there, but he's definitely got tidied up. I cut him some slack just because of his track record. Point to the batting average all you want, but the dude's he is a star in this league when he's right. I don't care about the strikeouts. I don't care about the batting average. He's a Gold Glover.
Wait, I gotta find something. His average, there's something on here that's the average with balls in play.
Yeah, batting average and balls in play.
BABIP.
Thank you.
Do you need me to do it? I've got it right here.
If you got it,
No,
right
246.
there, I want
Oh,
to
damn. I wanted to see if Murph could do it.
246.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure I could have found it. I just didn't have it. Right
It's okay.
here.
Explain that for the folks at home, Murphy.
Oh, I got it.
We're
Right.
going to do a segment every episode. Is Murphy trying to... It's like
Well, no,
mansplaining
it's
something. It's like
expected.
Murphy trying to explain a stat to everybody.
We started that last year and kind of shied away from it. But
Murphy, explain K percentage.
It is the amount of times that you strike out.
Explain BABIP to people.
The amount your batting average if you exclude strikeouts, essentially, and walks. Well, walks aren't included in batting average anyway, but you know what I mean.
Okay. And what is that?
246.
Projected 260 this year.
That's great. So get into his projections. What are his total projections for the whole year this year?
It's projected to hit. Again, this is Zips. Welcome back to the second roll call, third roll call, somewhere in there. This will be out there. We've been using Zips. That's what we're going to use for the whole offseason. But 205 batting average, 352 on base, which is pretty damn good. A 507 slugging, 133 WRC plus. I was actually able to say it this time, and 38 home runs. That's pretty fucking good. That's pretty good.
Over under 38 home runs.
Over.
over? Murph, what do you got?
I'll take the over.
He's gonna hit 42.
Life's too short to bet the under. I mean, what does he average every year for home runs?
Let's see. His career, if you want to start it, 41, 40, 22, but he only played 70 games.
10
and
so he played 57
26
games.
Yeah, 57, excuse me. And then
So the last couple full
38
seasons,
last year.
the last few full seasons, he had
40, 41, and 38.
Yeah, 40, 41, 38, and 38 again. Man hits fucking dingers. Chicks dig the long ball.
Fun fact: hit 50 career home runs before 50 career singles.
That is
Never
wild.
do that.
I've heard that so many times, and I love it every time I hear that.
Every time.
That's fucking ridiculous.
I mean, that is just.
I wonder where those numbers are at now. Like
Yeah,
when his
it's
career home
probably
runs
it's
versus
probably
career
almost
singles.
1-to-1. I feel like
Let's see. I know a
Let's see
nifty
right
little
now, yeah.
website I can look that up on.
It's
He's got-
169 to 158.
in favor of
Beat
what?
that Chandler
In favor
of singles.
Oh damn, he's got to get those numbers back up.
Those are rookie numbers.
I don't want to see a single anymore. I want to see just home runs. Just not obviously like the baseball fan in me wants to see more singles out of him and not more home runs. But just for the purposes of that stat, I want to see only home runs and no
I
singles.
want him to be the first person to retire with more home runs.
Yeah,
Dude, he
has to
struck
be.
out 213 times last
I
year.
mean, he's literally the worst at strikeouts.
That is so bad.
the worst.
I
He's
know.
got 800. So how many hits? So he's got 415 career hits, 885 career strikeouts.
How do you think?
Oh my god.
How many times that just weird scenario here? When we see 2, 3, 4, it's a murderer's row coming up. Judge, Gallo, Stanton. How many times this season do you think all three are going to strike out? Like strike out the side.
How about
In a
I
row
think
or in the
that's-
same
I think
game?
that's going to happen. In
In a row would be more-
Not, it doesn't have to be in the same inning, right?
No,
In a
like,
row,
I
it
wanna-
doesn't have to be in the same
I want to
inning.
add in the same inning. I want to just be.
I think it's going to happen like twice or 3 times.
Okay.
It's so specific.
The whole year?
Yeah, it would have to be 2, 3, 4, and they all strike out. So the
And
whole
strike
year,
out.
though,
I'm gonna say 10.
consecutively, how often do you think they'll strike out consecutively 3 times? Like all 3 of them in a row.
10.
Like even if Judge and Gallo strike out one inning and to open the next inning, Stanton
At
strikes
least
out.
10 times.
I'd
I
say
might
10 times.
I might say more. I would bet the over if the line's
In the
10.
same game, I would say probably 140 out of the 162. If they, assuming
all 3
that,
of them get a
Oh,
strikeout.
like if any of them strike out,
yeah.
I think that's going to be every single game. That if every game that they each play in, if they all are in the game, every one of them is going to at least get one strikeout.
2,400 plate appearances, 800 strikeouts for Gallo. That's
It's a
about
lot of
once a game.
strikeouts, brother.
That's about once a game for him.
Yeah.
Now, flip side,
He
how
struck
how
out
many
50%
times?
of at bats on the
Wait,
Yankees last
actually,
year.
I lied. It's way more than that.
It's
He has
33%.
626 games played and 885 strikeouts. So he strikes out like more than once a game.
Dude, he struck out 50% of his at bats on the Yankees.
Do you think that?
50 fucking percent.
Do you think there'll ever be a? That's the highest in the Yankees, right?
Yeah, that's the highest in baseball by a
I mean,
lot.
there's some big strikeout culprits
Not
on the
that.
team. Do you
lot of
think?
walks, too, though.
Do you think there's a chance that on the flip side of this narrative, do you think Stanton, Judge, and Gallo can go back to back to back at all this year?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I say once.
I think that'd be really cool. That's my bold prediction. I think it happens.
I think
it
it's
happens in August.
I think it happens in.
Okay.
The balls are a little hotter. They'll fly out of the ballpark a little bit. It'll be in Colorado too.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to happen in Colorado.
Yeah,
if we
that's
play
what
them this
I'm
year.
worried about. They're gonna definitely need that extra power. Those 3 guys from the warmer weather. I think they're gonna do it on Saturday, April 9th.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Probably
because we're
gonna
going
miss
to
it.
that game.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at there.
Do you want to get to where before we round out this episode? Where does he rank? Because he's probably going to be our left fielder this year, right?
Yeah, I would
He
assume
plays
so.
center field right now.
He doesn't for the Yankees though.
Yeah, I mean, right now, our center fielder Judge played a lot of center field,
No, I wouldn't say a lot.
more than Gallo did.
Gallo didn't play
Gallo's
center.
never played center field in 20.
Well, that was the thing coming in was he was like, oh, he could play center field for the Yankees.
Well, yeah, but that would mean the Yankees do something that makes sense.
I mean, the center fielders right now are Hicks and assuming
Tim
Gardner will be back,
Castro.
Castro.
Tim LeCastro. So I'd prefer Gallo or Judge to be in center.
Judge needs to be the center fielder.
I think Judge is their center fielder.
It
So,
needs to be Judge center, Stanton right, and Gallo in left. That is what it should be. Is that what it's going to be? Absolutely fucking not.
he's going to play left. So, with that being said, where does he rank among left fielders? Zips projections
Second.
for WAR. He's second.
He is second at 4.7, right behind Juan Soto. Not right behind. Juan Soto's got 3 wins over him, but
It's a lot.
Yeah, he's projected at second.
Above who?
I mean, above everybody but Juan
I
Soto.
don't name the players.
The people around him: Tyler O'Neill, Brian Reynolds, Schwarber, Yelich, Winker, Nimmo, Austin
Pretty weak in
Meadows.
left field.
Yeah, left field's very weak across
That,
the league.
that got me fired up when you said it originally, and
Yeah.
now I'm just like, oh, okay. Well,
I mean, I
sure.
can do all outfielders if that's what you want to see.
Did he win a Gold Glove last year? Yeah, right.
Gallo? Yeah. Yeah, he won it.
I say he does it again. Hot take.
I don't.
I mean, think about who
I
in
don't think
left
that's
field. that
Nah,
just
you
said
don't
is
think
good at
Schwarber?
fielding.
Yeah,
I think
Schwarber
Schwarber's
won
gonna
a
take
Gold
it.
Glove.
Yeah, Soto's gonna win a Gold Glove.
So he's a bad fielder. What do you think his Sun probability factorial is going to be?
Wait, he's 10th in all outfielders in projected WAR. That's pretty good.
That's pretty fucking good.
That's very good.
And outfielders
I
are
don't
generally the
think
ones.
he's gonna get to the Sun. I'll put his Sun at.
You don't think so?
No, I'll put his Sun at Well, I mean, I guess with a low batting average and a lot of strikeouts, you can get to the Sun pretty quickly. I'd say about 10%, maybe less. 10. I'll go 7.
Yeah, I think it's a really good year for him. I think.
That's not the
I think
question, though.
I think the fan. Well, that's my thought on how he's. It's basically how you think he's.
Does
Is
that
there
factor into the factorial?
the factorial factors in like he actually is a player who would probably not really test well in this category because he's streaky. So like streakiness absolutely plays into your ability to land on the Sun because he can get into a cold streak pretty easily. I think. So I think 7's very low, honestly. Now that I think about that,
I was going to go like 40.
I think there's a
More
possibility.
than Glaber?
When you talk about a leash, he's probably got a relatively coming out of last year.
It is a short leash. He came
Coming
over
out of
here
last
and
year, it's
he
short.
Struggled.
Yeah,
And
coming
we
out
gave
of
up
last
5
year.
top 20 prospects for him.
But if you look at the 2021 numbers as a whole, I would raise his leash a little bit more.
Okay, but half of them came on the fucking Rangers.
All this to say, I think my number I would give him for Sun probability factorial would be like 29%.
I got 40.
I think 29. Murph, would you like to change your answer? Or are you gonna stick with it?
I'll stick with the 10, but I'm not going that much higher. I don't think he's gonna make it to the Sun.
I don't think he will
I
either,
get
but
that I think that when we're factoring in the Sun, like if he's striking out a ton of times and he's hitting for a low average, we know that's who Joey Gallo is. So he's not going to go to the Sun because he's probably also going to be walking a lot and also going to be playing pretty good outfield and you know what to expect from him. So
I think
it's gonna
us
be about
knowing
7.
that, yeah, I think us knowing that too, we're gonna factor that in. We're not gonna be like, at the naked eye tells me they struck out fucking 30 times in a row, but then we could be like, oh,
He didn't make it to the Sun last year and he struck out 50% of the time.
He didn't make it to the Sun last year.
I don't think so. Do you remember him on the Sun last year? I don't.
Yeah, but
Really?
If it was, I wasn't
Maybe
voting.
not,
So
I don't know.
No, I
definitely
feel like
didn't.
there wasn't enough time. He only played 58 games on the Yankees. No, I don't think he makes it to the Sun this year. I think he's gonna have a very good, very nice year, and I'm gonna stick with
I
my
hope so.
I'm gonna stick with my pick for him to be the dark horse Yankees MVP. I might sprinkle some cash on that
I
bet.
think that's a horrible, horrible bet. The baseball writers will never vote a guy with a 200 batting average. Look at the Judge and Altuve one.
They sure as fuck will if he had 67 home runs.
It's not going to.
You might as well bet. You might as well bet on Bryant to win the NCAA championship.
They might.
You never know.
Big
my friend.
dance, brother.
Welcome to the big game. All right, that'll do it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes. Check out the YouTube. Type in Bronx Pinstripes, hit enter, and that's where you can find us to get the video version. And as always, go Yanks. Love you guys. Catch you on the next one.